That's always a good idea.
Alright, I started the recording.
Oh, so we're rolling now?
Alright, we're gonna clap on 3, okay?
Okay.
3, 2, 1. That was really bad. Did you even clap?
I did a little like finger snap, like a little like club clap, like just snap, snap, snap. I don't know. I just went with it.
Alright, I did that just so we could like figure out what the fuck's going on.
You said you were gonna clap on 3, and then you went 3, 2, 1.
Oh my god, I'm a fucking idiot.
I mean, I guess it's fucking great. Oh shit. The hardest part is starting the first episode, because
really
that's
is.
the part where you don't know what to do.
Speaking of which, hello everyone.
Hi, people. It's me. You don't know who I am, but I'm sure excited to meet all of you. All 10 listeners out there.
I guarantee that's a really like Chris Hansen kind of thing to say.
Hi, Chris Hansen.
Hi, Chris Hansen here.
Why don't you have a seat right
Yeah.
Why don't you have a seat, huh?
Why don't you plug some headphones in? Let's see where this goes.
That's right. You found this stumbling on YouTube at 2 a.m., mister, didn't you? Or missy. I don't judge. We've gone like 2 minutes without even saying our names. I mean, I guess you could guess them by the title of the video, but
That's
that's
a good point. We are a minute 37 seconds in.
And we're already doing great.
Yes. For all of you who don't know, this guy's Connor.
That's me. I'm the depression that you'll find at the bottom of a Doritos chip bag.
That is not what we agreed on.
I know. The analogies got messed up in my head. The voices are telling me to say one thing, but my heart tells me to say something else.
And I'm Cameron, the one who's in the fucking bottom of your barrel.
There you go. Like, what kind of barrel? Like a shotgun barrel? Like,
fucking hopefully.
I just remember for today where someone's like, if you guys are gonna do this, please don't make any suicide references. And I'm like, can't promise you anything.
That's the sound of me hanging.
Speaking of hanging, this is about to get really dark. This is how I roll. So, when I was 11, my dad and stuff like passed away from drinking, and this kid in my high school class never got that through his head. He always went, "How's your dad hanging?" I was like, "What?" He's like, "How's your dad, wink wink, nudge nudge, hanging?" And he would just keep repeating it for about 3 years.
What the fuck?
Like, he just didn't get it. And you might be saying to yourself, Connor, did you explain it? Like, I did. I was like, listen, yeah, he was like, it was like, it's liver. It's like his liver failed. That's just what happened. He's like, oh, cool. How's your dad? Oh, hanging. Is he swinging around? I'm like, okay, this is pointless to explain at this point in time. Yeah, that kid got his girlfriend pregnant at 19, so.
I would have been the kid to bully you about it, but
yeah.
Instead of that, I would have at least like tried to sound smart and ended up looking retarded.
Yeah.
So you would have said, hey, look, it was liver failure. No one hung themselves. And I would have been like, sorry, how's your dad's liver hanging around?
I would actually be okay. I think that's funny. Like, people go like, wow, you're really like relaxed about it. And like, yeah, what the fuck else am I supposed to do? Cry?
Fucking pussy.
Sad shit happens all the time. Just make fun of it and your demons will go away.
I think there's a quote about that somewhere. Probably in the Bible.
Yeah, I just said it.
Yeah. Quote
Connor.
Right now. Quote this video.
Quote this video. If you want to use this for your college entrance exam essay, go for it. I mean, you won't get in, but like, go for it.
Well, I mean, that's why I started this.
Oh, is this your college entrance essay?
No.
Okay, so if this wasn't your so-called college entrance essay, what university are you not using this for?
West Virginia Wesleyan?
Clown College? I want to play with the big boys.
I want to play with Steve-O. I want to hang out inside of his nostrils.
I want to be the snot coming out of Steve-O's nostrils. See, it's late enough where we might think this is funny, but when it's like 6 a.m., it's not gonna be funny.
When we have to wake up and actually go to our jobs, we're gonna think, wow, we really fucked up.
I'm gonna share this to my parents, and then they're gonna go, "Wow, disowning you sounds like a great idea." I'm gonna be like, "Yeah, if you want to take me off the Christmas card, that's fine, I guess."
I mean, yeah, that's always an option. I mean, what
I
else?
guess.
Well, I mean, what else could they do? I mean, they can't really kick you out about it. That doesn't really seem justified.
I mean, it's not justified, but
But like,
middle-aged white people, yo,
yeah,
dab,
yeah, dab.
insert dab. Whoa, that's horribly rude.
Excuse me.
That was what if someone is watching this at trying to go to bed? I highly doubt it. But what if someone is, and you just gave them nightmare fuel?
To be honest, if anyone's gonna give them nightmare fuel, I'm looking at the fucking audio right now as we speak, and you are obliterating the audio. And
it's because
I think it's just because I have you really loud.
Okay.
Not even
it
really
might be
loud.
my loud, squeaky voice.
It's not even that. I just turned you down a little bit, but it was just you're peaking a bit, real hard. You're fucking peeking all over my computer.
Are you peeking over there, boy?
All over my mouth. I mean...
Whoa! Whoa, whoa, whoa. Wick. It's just, I don't know.
So, I mean, we should have thought this out a little bit better.
We should have, but we're in it now, boyo, and let's just get right into it.
Yeah.
So what is this show about? Absolutely nothing. Why are you here? Because your existence, you don't know what it's for. You won't find it here, but...
Well, the main question I had was, how long are we going to do this for? In terms of how long are the videos going to be? Because
I would say 45.
45 minutes?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good round number.
Okay, so we should probably go to about an hour just in case.
I mean, if we're gonna cut this completely out, but if we go to an hour,
no, fuck you, I'm not cutting it out.
Fuck editing, man. There's no such thing as mistakes.
I fucking just learned how to do it fucking today.
I feel you.
I mean,
I went to 4 director colleges, and I've been to Cambridge University. Where's Cambridge? Don't ask me to point it out.
I think I saw an advertisement for it once.
For Cambridge once, it was on a billboard somewhere, and I just thought of it.
It was I was watching sports, and then it came on, and I think it was on. Is it in Arizona?
Cambridge? No.
I don't know where the. You act like I know where this is. Why would I know that?
True. I think Cambridge. I'm thinking of Oxford. Shit. Never mind. I take back everything. I was like, it's the one that Stephen Hawking.
Connecticut.
I'm pretty sure Oxford is in England.
What? I don't think you're right.
I guarantee you that I'm right. I'm guaranteeing you that Oxford College is a thing.
Oh, another thing I was gonna say. Should we link our social medias somewhere? Or I should probably do it in the description.
We should get.
But I was thinking of having.
I was right. It is England. I'm sorry.
So I was thinking that we could have those annoying ass fucking watermarks at the bottom with follow us all over this, and then have it all over the bottom of the screen.
Just have a really shitty Twitter bio where we just quote Fortnite memes.
No, you know what? Whoops, I'm sorry about that. I'm gonna read you my Twitter bio right now.
Okay, I don't have a Twitter. I already did have a Twitter, I think, at one point in time, but I don't use it anymore.
Let me find it.
I'm pretty sure my name is Fantastic Bleach.
Wow. Oh, I changed it because what it did say, it used to say something similar to my Steam one.
Yeah.
Right now it says I am actually a summer fucking sausage.
Uh-huh.
My Steam one, let me go ahead and pull it up here. My Steam one says 4 out of 5 doctors recommend eating ass on the first date. Or no, is it 4 out of 5 doctors or 4 out of 5 dentists is what it says.
4 out of 5 dentists recommend eating ass on the first date. So, like I said, this is a show about nothing and everything. So, everything we'll just cover everything what we really want to talk about because it's our show or podcast. I wouldn't even call it a show, honestly. I'd just call it our podcast. So, I mean, definitely, woo.
I mean, that's pretty much exactly it. I mean, if anyone inquires about any kind of fucking things to talk about, like specifically, we're all for it.
Fuck it. You know what? Let's talk about call center life.
Oh.
That's a dirty subject that me and you both know really well.
Dude, oh my god. Okay, fine. You brought up the topic. Do you have something specific you were thinking about right offhand?
I think the call center life in general is just fucking miserable.
I will agree to a certain point.
To an extent.
Yeah. I quite enjoy my job now, actually. Because when I started, I fucking hated it. Like,
I remember.
On an insane level, and I was about to quit. And now the more and more I think about it, the more and more I'm just like, it could be hella worse. Like, I could be in a fucking coal mine right now, killing myself.
I mean, you're already in a call center killing you. I mean, when it comes down to it, I think the things that people really don't get about call centers and what people get really upset about is that a lot of people like to be active. And it's hard to be active in a call center. I mean, we found ways to make it work, like fucking each other under our desks. But, like, there's just a lot of, like, I don't know, shit to get through. And then you have, like, if you're having a bad day, people are like bitching because like the call centers in our area, like they get crazy. Like there are horror stories coming out of different call centers where it's like I saw a dude punch another dude in the training class, and it's like that's fucking insane. But you like hear these horror stories about like, man, call centers are dead end jobs. I'm like, not really.
No.
A call center job is really what you make of it. It's like college. It's like what you make of it, man. What's your high school experience like? Because mine was just sad.
Well,
just like my call center experience. It's like it just comes down to that shit.
It's I think call center. I can't really just generalize all call centers, and I can't take away from obviously every other job ever. But
right.
It's kind of like life where the more you put into it, the more you're gonna get back, and the like higher up you have like the potential of getting to. But like if you really don't, if you're okay with not applying yourself and just staying, you know, just at your normal talk to people and do a thing kind of job, then I mean go for it.
Yeah. Well, I think what it comes down to is like people are like, man, because like the place we work, where people are like, man, this job is so stupid. I hate it. They're all idiots. I'm like, are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? Like, are you doing the simple task of come back on time, and are you just following the things you're supposed to read? Because if you're not, you fully deserve what you're getting.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Because like we deal with people every day where they're like, man, this is stupid. They're pointing me what is it? I'm not happy with our 10-minute breaks. Okay, we just raised it to 15 minutes for you guys. I'm not happy with my 15-minute break. It doesn't give me enough time. And it's like it comes from the same people who suggested like 15-minute breaks.
Oh yeah, no, that's the thing is that it comes back to the old saying, the squeaky wheel gets the oil, right?
Oh, I love that saying.
The more and more you complain, the more and more you have to get treated, or the better you have to get treated rather. So, because you're so spoiled in that sense, you will then complain more. Right.
And I mean, it also comes back down to like, people are also like, oh, favoritism exists. I mean, favoritism exists anywhere you fucking go.
That's literally a human nature.
Right. Like, come on. We've all worked in fast food. We've all worked in like a fucking like, I don't know, just like a not a good job. Like, I worked in a Bob Evans, of all places, for a while, and guess what? It was the shittiest job I ever had. And you can quote me on that. Anybody who actually knows me knows what Bob Evans I'm talking about. It was the worst fucking experience of my life, but I made a lot of good friends there. But I can tell you about times where like it's just favoritism. Like, okay, here for example, we have a manager, right? We had a manager there who was 45 years old, right? Get this, she just left her husband. Just left her husband of like 15 years. I think her husband was cheating on her or whatever. And she's like, well, my husband didn't let me get a tattoo. So she got a sleeve of like shitty hearts
Oh.
growing off a tree. And okay, keep in mind she's 45. What did you do on New Year's Day? I went to a teenage club, like an early, like a young adult club, like 20, 25, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And she's like, I got kicked out for starting a fight with a 26-year-old. I'm like, you're 45 and you started a fight with a 26-year-old girl.
That sounds like
You
a
got
midlife crisis.
plaster. Like, honestly. And I'm sitting here like, are you kidding me? And what I'm getting to favoritism is that this woman would only tell a select few people, but everyone in the restaurant would hear it. But you knew who like her favorites were because they were always getting the best hours. They were showing favoritism. Like, they wouldn't be treated badly. See, I was a host at Bob Evans, right? So, like, what would happen is I had my nice white polo on. I was looking spiffy, chubby, and cute. And they're like, get on dish duty. But I'm like, but what about this person? They're not doing dishes. And it would be someone in that inner circle. And they're like, they don't have to do dishes. We're busy. Go do dishes. We need everyone we can get. And I'm like, again, here's this person. And it was just a nightmare. And it was probably the worst experience I ever had. Bob Evans is like Cracker Barrel. They go through racism scandals like every year. Or like some horrible it's true. Like, okay, I also worked at Cracker Barrel too, coincidentally. And I didn't last there long because I didn't like it. I quit. But they had, in their training, I kid you not, in their training, they had a whole segment about how we can serve people of color the same way as white people.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, that's common sense. But it was like an hour-long training about, no, they're not different. We're all equal. I'm like, you don't have to tell me. I understand that. No. If they want to be seated by the window, please don't sit them by the window. But don't make a big deal out of it, okay? And never, ever tell them to go to the back of the line. I'm like, okay, why would I do that? If they're there first, they're there first. Also,
Are you?
it was, yeah, I'm serious. It would go into like things about like they're like, don't treat a black customer like don't be hostile towards a black customer, and I'm like, why would I? And it's like, but unless they're being hostile towards you, and I'm like, okay, well, all right, but don't be hostile if they're black, just because. And I'm like, all right, but why aren't you like mentioning other races? And they're like, well, because I'm like, it's because your name is like Cracker Barrel and you're like trying to be like a country store, so it's like bravery is like a really minor undertone. Like, we have items from the 1920s in here.
Dude.
Also, segregation.
Please make sure to always have a smile, and please do not treat black people like inferiors.
Please,
Oh my fucking God,
please
dude.
do not make any horrible racist jokes towards the black customers. It's like, but we also have like other ethnicities like Native Americans. Like, what, are you going to tell me not to walk up to Native American customers and go, we're taking your land? Just joking. Like, honestly.
Walk up to a Native American, just start going, oh!
Just start screaming at them.
Yeah.
Do you like the cornbread? It's just like, it's
Dude,
like
that's-
stuff like that where I get annoyed with like country restaurants and just,
Right.
I know, it's just so stupid. Like,
Just like the country theme is just so out. I mean, obviously the point is that it's outdated and is.
well, that's the thing.
That's
It's
yeah.
for
it's-
racist old white people.
Well, honestly,
is.
it's not even the country like theme as a whole that I blame for that. It's just like because I used to work at 7-Eleven. Actually, that was my first job as a 7-Eleven
Okay.
Down the street or whatever. And I worked night shifts for so fucking long.
Right.
And obviously 7-Eleven has the reputation of it's either Indians, like for call centers, and fucking old white women. And
Okay.
when I first started on night shift, I was working with two other older white women, and every other word was literally N-word this N-word, and it was, oh my God, was it brutal.
because it's hard to sit there and hear that kind of stuff.
Oh my god, it really is.
It's just like what my grandmother said to me once. So like people are like, they're like, I don't understand. Like I understand there's a cultural divide between people of my generation, of our generation, and then like a couple generations ago. Like my grandparents one night, I brought my girlfriend to dinner. My like, I brought my girlfriend,
Mm.
and we were all sitting there. And my grandmother goes, man, you kids, you don't know what it's like. I truly believe that my childhood, my generation had the best generation. And I made the joke, but was slightly serious, but mostly serious, is like, but except for the segregation. And she's like, no, it wasn't segregation. The blacks and the Italians had their areas, and the Asians and the Germans had theirs. And I'm like, that's literally what segregation is.
What?
And she's like,
How is that reasonable?
no. The people of color enjoyed it. I'm like, I can prove to you they didn't. Like, there are textbooks, like, clearly stating, not a good idea.
I like to pull a quote from Bo Burnham's. I can't remember which song it was, but it was a straight white male. And
Okay.
I'm not about to sit here and be a fucking apologist or some shit. That's fucking ugh. But I love it whenever he has a line and he's talking about what everyone else wants and how it's too much. But I just want my Uggs and my expensive clothes to just be
Right.
perfect. And he's like, the blacks want not to be called black. Like,
It's just,
I mean, just fucking is African American too much?
right. Well, I mean, I think that's where it comes down to, is like we have to look at it, our culture, our generation. Like, because we were having a conversation about this today, like the millennials, and like we are obviously millennials. So it comes down to the point where like if we have the older the millennial half that was born in the late 90s,
Mm-hmm.
who aren't really sensitive or are still coming off of that like 80s vibe, like what our parents were raised on, was like they grew up as teenagers, and it's like it's not really sensitive. It's like you can get away with whatever you want and you're not really being offensive. And then you have like the like like not even early 2000s, I would say like 2000, yeah, no, I would say early 2000s people who are like, that's offensive.
And the whole situation is that offensiveness is sheerly subjective. You can't just like have a big long or a big panel of people that just determine what is and is not offensive, because it's, well, obviously it's based on what you believe and shit like that.
Right.
But well, the problem is like either people are too offended or people just aren't offended enough.
Exactly. And a perfect example of it is like you know about Apu from The Simpsons, right?
Oh yeah, I heard about that recently. That shit was fucking stupid.
Like the whole like native, like the Indian comedian. He was like, Apu is offensive, and how many of you were called Apu in high school? And it's like, okay, now Fox has to take one of the most beloved characters from The Simpsons away, who wasn't like, I understand where like if he was like being stereotypical, like really stereotypical, like making fun of it, but like Apu was like he wasn't an offensive Simpsons character. Like he's been around since the beginning, and no one had a problem with him until 2018. And I'm like, one person has to do that kind of shit. Like, it's stupid.
Right, exactly. And it's like, not even that, but like, how many other fucking what would be considered foreign characters are there on The Simpsons? But just
Right.
because one is colored darker than Asian people, who are they're viewed as they're considered white people, or
Exactly.
yellow. They don't get that kind of special treatment.
Exactly. And I think it also comes down to is that everybody, we see these like great leaders like Martin Luther King and just like all, like civil rights movement leaders
Right.
from the past, and then you have people who are like, I'm a civil rights leader, I got Apu taking off The Simpsons. And I'm like, no, you're a bratty little person who can't handle anything and just wants to shine for a little bit.
Oh,
Like, you
exactly.
didn't do anything to contribute to a cause. You did something to annoy people that makes your cause look like it's a controlling factor. Like a horrible controlling factor.
You made yourself look like a bitch. I believe is what
That's
you're looking for.
right, and that's the problem with like feminism and stuff. Like people are like feminism is horrible, and I'm like, no. People make it go to the extremes, and we only see the bad sides of the extremes. I totally agree that women deserve equal rights, and that's 100% true. But like,
Am I gonna have to debate this on you? They have equal rights, buddy.
right, okay, they have equal rights, but like I understand where some of them are coming from. Where sexism in the workplace is a real thing, and it is a real thing. But
Right.
you have people who are like, you ever seen? You know who Chatty Banks is?
No, I'm not familiar.
Okay, Chatty Banks is like this red hair feminist, like this crazy woman.
Oh, is she that? Oh my god, is she the one?
She has
with
glasses
the-
and she
with
was like
the-
screaming at people.
Yeah, with the famous ass like meme.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So the whole thing behind her is that she was at a gay pride parade, like just like showing like love and stuff, and there was a pastor who wasn't being violent towards anyone. Now I don't agree with the pastor's views, but he was saying like you're all gonna like it's like hell, like it's a sin, and I get it because like some religion's hard on that, but he wasn't being violent towards anybody, right?
Right. Exactly.
She gets in his face, starts screaming at him, telling him he's like he's gonna get the shit kicked out of him, all this stuff, horrible things. And like I don't get he's personally attacking you, but she's saying you don't have the right to speak here.
That's not
Chatty
how that
Banks
works.
goes to some type of rally that she disagrees with, starts speaking the same way that the pastor does, right? But then she's like, then people are being kind of like, no, we don't agree with that. Then she becomes full psycho, screaming, cursing, and she's like, I have a right to speak, even though, and it's like, but didn't you took away that
Oh, yeah.
pastor's right to speak at something that you didn't agree with. And it comes down to like that's what we see on the TV, and everyone's like,
Exactly. It's right. It's like it's an insane double standard is what's going on
Right.
here with a lot of different minority groups, like your feminists and your NAACPs and your
neo-Nazis.
Exactly. It's all just like we want to get our voices heard, and we will do anything to get it. And that means
Right.
we'll do anything violent, we'll do anything destructive, and
We'll
we
jerk off
will-
on a sign. We'll do
Dude,
whatever we need
we'll-
to do.
We'll spew our hot jizz all over people's windshields.
And when they wipe it off, it's gonna spell "fuck you."
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
You just jizz it into like a pattern and it like stains and shit.
Exactly.
Oh my.
Exactly.
Why can't we just go back to the days of like protesting where it's like egging people's cars? Like that's what I want to do.
Why
I
can't
don't want
we-
Molotov. Like
why
I don't want
can't-
riots.
Why can't we protest by going into someone's house with like a bunch of like chalk and just grind it into their carpets and then be like, "Ha, you're gonna have to spend extra time vacuuming that," and then
It's
walk away.
haha. Your vacuum sucks.
Shut the
At
fuck
suck it.
God damn it.
I just want to chop. Like this is how I'm gonna protest from now on. I'm gonna break into people's homes and like I'm gonna buy a bunch of industrial chalk, right? Like chalkboard teacher chalk. And then I'm gonna cut it up, like, and I'm gonna buy blue and pink, and I'm gonna mush it all together, right? And I'm gonna cut it up into little circles and replace all their tums with it.
Dude, did I actually? I don't think I ever told you about that story, did I?
No.
So I had a running joke in my my Spanish 2 class in sophomore year, where I was very shy, but I knew the teacher a lot. Like I knew the teacher. I was like really good friends with her. I absolutely adored her. So I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna prank her." So what I'm gonna
So-
do? What I ended up doing was every day I'd come into class, and I would grab a single piece of chalk out of her little chalk tray on her chalkboard,
Right.
and I would take it and hide it somewhere in her classroom. And eventually that would escalate from one piece to 2 pieces, and then I would grab like instead of 2 pieces, I grabbed like 3 or 4. And about halfway through the semester, I was grabbing full boxes of chalk. Like just entire, like literally, yeah. And then, one day it came, like she just was like, I just put a new box of chalk out here. What the hell is happening? Like, what is going on? And so everyone knew it was me, obviously, because there's only one person standing at the front taking chalk and stuffing it in their pockets and then walking around the class like a fucking moron.
Right.
So at the end of the year, she made me give all of her chalk back. She knew at that point that it was me. So I remember she had like a little VCR underneath of her TV that's mounted in the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
In that thing alone was like 8 boxes of chalk. There was one that I put inside of the VCR player. I remember I ended up hiding at least like 15 boxes in her spare cupboard. That was a
Okay.
little too obvious. I put like 5 boxes inside of the top like drawer of her desk.
I'm surprised you didn't shove it in the VCR.
I did. I put 1 box in there.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, she had a cardboard box on top of her like spare supply
Mm-hmm.
closet or whatever, and there were like 15 boxes in that. And then I stole 5 boxes and had them in my locker. And she told me to go get that one like one day because she was actually out of chalk. But she was like, Cameron, go get the chalk you took from me. So I literally came back, and I think she had maybe like a 1-gallon bucket, like one of those like the weaved wooden buckets or whatever,
Right,
with like the
right.
metal wiring around the sides. I
Mhm.
filled the entire thing up, and also the tray under the chalkboard up.
Okay.
That was probably the most meaningful thing I did in high school, to be fair. Other than weed, but wait, no, that was out of high school.
You did weed outside of high school or in high school?
Outside of high school.
And
Yeah,
so when
no, I was in gym class.
I was in gym class and the coach was like, "Who wants to play football?" I went, "Nah, man, I want to smoke up on that dank kush."
Exactly.
And then I blew a puff in his face and he went, "Shit, dog, let me get a piece of that."
Let me get a piece of that ass.
A piece of that ass, and I went, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!"
And then he
No,
ended
no,
up
no.
he ended up being the football coach at my high school, who ended up getting arrested for having sex with an underage kid in the football meeting room.
And that's how I met my new stepdad.
I mean, hilarious, Joe.
I mean, Jim's a great dad. Please don't get the whippet belt.
Please don't get the pigskin.
Please don't get the pigskin. Who's the little piggy? I'm the little piggy.
Oh,
Dude.
yeah.
Man, you know what I can't stand? Were
Sitting down.
you a that also? Were you a jock in high school or no?
A little bit. I played basketball.
Nah, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about football. Like stereotypical football jock.
No, I didn't play football. I didn't really hang out with that crowd, to be honest.
Okay, so a lot of the kids that I went to high school with, right? Like, So here's me. As a little description, I was a chubby. I still am, but I was more chubby. I wore the same sweat jacket every day in high school. I was a nerd. I was kind of like an emo kid, and so like these high school football dicks that I went to school with. Let me tell you a little. Let me give you a little background. They had shower games, right? Would you like to know what the shower game for my class was?
No. What
Holding
does-
down a player and pissing on him, pissing in his mouth,
Oof.
in his showers. A couple years before, it was literally just rough gay sex. It sounded like they were like, let's all tackle each other in a naked dog pile.
I would
I'm like, you're fucking each other. But like, so that was like the culture. Like where I went to high school, it was like these guys, they're like fucking pissing in each other's mouths, and no one's doing shit about it. Anyway,
That's fucking
we all graduate, right?
Right.
And like, I didn't go to that school. I went to a tech school for 2 years afterwards.
right.
'Cause I was like, fuck this shit. Tech school, it was an outcast place. I loved every second of it. I loved being there. So right now, like a couple of them are in the military, but they're all like still kind of like gym buddies. And what they do is they have this thing called weekly douche selfies, where they post themselves with their like muscles out.
Okay.
I'm like, are you? I hate that. I hate bathroom, public restroom, any bathroom mirror selfie of muscles.
Oh, is that
just-
what
I
you were talking
can't-
about before we started recording?
Yeah,
Is that what you
yeah.
meant?
Yeah, that's what I meant. I can't stand it. They're like trying to be deep with this like bonehead meat ass picture where they're like, oh man, I'm thinking really deep. Here's a bathroom selfie. Like, shut the fuck up. No one gives a shit about your training regimen. You don't see me going, wow, what do you do? Do you lift the dumbbells? Like, it's just fucking stupid. Like, no one cares. No one gives a shit about how big your muscles have gotten from age 14 to age whatever. Like, I don't give a shit.
How can
Like, you bullied me in high school, and now we don't even, like, you bullied me horribly in high school.
Right.
So now, you're posting about your muscles? Like, honestly? Oh, I'm a U.S. Marine. Good for you. I hope you get your ass kicked. I hope you don't get killed because I'm not that cynical.
I am.
But I am a little cynical. But, like, these people, like, they weren't... Like, I understand the conditionings of our
Yeah.
town. In a small football town. Like, it's shitty.
Right.
And... But they're, like... They're just posting, like, these fucking selfies. And I'm like, steroids, alcohol. And half of them are fucking alcoholics at a young age.
Oh, no, I
It's
understand.
just crazy.
I mean,
Like, I've heard some crazy stories about it.
right. I mean, I can't really. I don't want to like put names to anything because obviously we're gonna be sharing this and like giving people up. But there's someone that we both mutually.
Oh, yeah. I already marked my ass for death with, like, half of those comments. Like, people already know who I am, already know who I'm talking about. It's like, if you hear this...
I feel like. Well, I mean, I almost slipped. I don't know if you caught it, but we're not gonna talk about that. We'll get to that later. we'll get to that, right?
That's, like, something later down the line.
Yeah. But I'll just say that a friend of ours mutually is very much like that in some ways, where they probably drink a little much and they're pretty young. Anyway, but yeah. No, I know what you mean because it's like, and that's such a fucking stereotype for high school like jocks and
Right,
shit too. And
but,
it's like,
like-
why would you buy into why would you do that?
Exactly.
And be like, this is
Why
good?
the fuck would you buy into it? And it's like the stereotypical ABC family bullshit. And I'm sitting here like, the problem with like TV in high school is that I grew up watching like those Disney Channel movies where it desensitizes you to what high school really should be. But the town that we live in, the high schools here are just like the Disney TV shows,
Oh,
except
God.
worse. Like they're just shitty. Like the high school jocks are the dicks and the nerds are the outcasts. But it's like,
You've got
come
your
on, I was a fucking
yeah.
outcast.
You've got your fucking cringy goths and your fucking bully jocks, and then
Right.
you've got your cheerleader girls who only talk to the jocks, and no one else is allowed to talk to those guys. And then
Exactly.
God.
And it's come down to the point where like because our town is so small and like the schools are so small, everybody knows everyone. So like there's rivalries between the two high schools. Like, okay, here's just a little example. We have two high schools in our town, and we just had the homecoming game. I'm sorry about that, my mic fell. We just had the big rivalry homecoming game that's been going on since like 1920, and I don't really fucking know how long. And people go ape shit. Like, it's like the biggest event in the town. And I'm like, guess what? The one school always loses. Been losing for 50 years.
No, when is that gonna change? Probably never.
Never. It's never. It's just like it's like the community beatdown. I think the score was like 0-35.
No.
And I'm sitting there like, yeah, this is the town that I live in, where the biggest event of the year is the local beatdown for the other high school.
The local ass beating
And let me
that we
tell you
deserve.
something. I was in the ass, like the high school that was getting their ass beat, and I still didn't give a shit. I tried to start a robotics club, and I did. It was just crazy shit where they play into the stereotype, and it's insane because I'll talk to people who did go to high school, And it's like, and I'm gonna say this right now. Thank God we didn't have a school shooter, because honestly, that kind of shit is what produces it. That kind of high school environment, and I see that every day.
Honestly,
I'm like, that high school environment. That's what produces school shooters. And I know like
it's
mental
not only
illness.
that. It's not only that because there's people who like, well, obviously like ourselves, we understand that that's how that works, but then there are like the parents, the principals, like the teacher, the peers of everyone encourage that behavior, and then there's always going to be repercussions of that.
Right,
Two
and
or
it's
three
the same
kids who are
bullshit.
left
Boys
out
being
every
boys.
once in a while. Yeah, exactly. Boys being boys, and then one kid ends up getting being the brunt of the joke way too many times, and then they're just gonna bring a fucking AK into school one day, and then can you blame them?
No, and like I just like, and I understand. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, the death of like kids is a good idea. No, it's a horrible thing, and it's like, but like, and the other thing that bothers me about it is that you take things like 13 Reasons Why, which I fucking hate, because it is one of those things that like fantasizes suicide and school shootings, like season 2. This is an infamous scene. A bisexual kid, gets harassed by the football jocks by getting sodomized by a broom and having it broke off in his ass. And then he becomes a school shooter. And I'm like, okay, so you really just dramatized this and made this kind of like, you fantasized it. It was like, it made it look good in a way.
Right.
And it's like, okay, well, this doesn't help the case. Like, parents blame everything on violent video. And like the whole Fortnite thing, where people are like, Fortnite's the reason for school shootings. I'm like, okay. I guess if you want to say Fortnite's the reason for, yeah. When I do the default dance, you know what's coming up next.
You're about to get yeeted, son.
Remember, when you see that kid do the default dance, duck under your desk. Like, it makes me angry. And I'm like, because you have, and then you have people who are like Sandy Hook, which is a horrible massacre that everyone knows about in the States, where you have people saying that's a Democratic ploy to get votes. I'm like, bullshit. Like, I just hate how people like either they fantasize, they dramatize, like they don't dramatize, but they fantasize, and they defame, or like they just do this thing where they take the school shooting, which is a loss of like a parent losing a child, which is devastating.
Exactly.
Horrifying. And you have people like the media going, it's been a horrible event, but let's take it to the 14 other people who were around the building so they can get the 15 minutes of fame. Or this was just a ploy from the Democrats. Let's blame Fortnite. Let's blame mental illness. Like, at the day, you need to come back to it and realize, my God, this is a fucking horrible event. How can we prevent it? Well, the government wants to say it's mental illness. The school wants to say it's Fortnite dances. It's just... it's crazy.
Yeah, eventually it's gonna have to come back on someone, and eventually it's gonna be such a big fucking hailstorm that it's almost gonna be commonplace.
Right. And like,
every school is gonna have one once a day, and no one's gonna have to go to school because everyone thinks that someone's gonna die.
Right, and that's what and it's fucking horrifying to think this, but that's literally a South Park episode in the new season, and it's becoming a reality. Like, are you kidding me?
That's disgusting.
It's just like, if Trey Stone can guess our future, I might honestly just blow my brains out. Because if I have a South Park writer depicting my future, it's gonna suck. Because I'm a fat kid, and it never works out for the fat kids.
Right. That's a fucking fact.
It's just, I don't know. It's just a crazy amount of shit. But, yeah, I think that's where we're gonna cut it off for today.
Agreed. We'll keep it in for the next episode. Appreciate it. First episode. Let us know in the comments what you think.
If it was too serious, I know, because it's our first episode, but don't worry, we'll back with the jokes.
The funnies.
The gags, the goofs, the blasteds, the finger banging, you know, all of it.
Alright, bye.